Okay, from the top, one more time. Here's your C major chord, right? First of all, because number one, C is the bottom note. This is what we call the root. Whatever you call the chord, that's what the root is. So if you're playing an A chord, A is the root. If you're playing E flat major, E flat is the root. So we're here at C major. We know it's major because we have a 3 gap between the first two and a 2 gap between the second two. So C major. Also it's C major because it is composed of 3 notes, C, E, and G. No more, no less. And what that means is we can play C, E, and G in any order and it's still a C major chord. In other words, I could play C here, play E here, and G here. Still a C major chord. I could play 2 Gs. Still a C major chord. I could play like that. That's how many Cs? 3 Cs, 2 Es, and 2 Gs. Doesn't matter. You can play as many as you want up and down the piano as long as it's only C, E, and G, no more, no less. It's a C major chord. And that's true of every chord. Whatever the notes are in the chord, for instance, E major is E, G sharp, and B. So as long as I'm playing E, G sharp, and B, still an E major chord. So once you figure out, you use the formula to figure out the chord, the notes in the chord, and then you remember the notes in the chord. That's basically what we're doing. So, inversions. There's 3 ways to play, 3 basic ways in the beginning to play your C major chord. C, when C is on the bottom, it's root position. If we put C on top, that leaves E on the bottom. This is called first inversion. If we put E on top and leave G on the bottom, it's called second inversion. It's still C, E, and G. But it's all about what's on the bottom. And then if we put G on top again, we got C on the bottom, so it's root position all over again. So you have root position, first inversion, second inversion. That's what we're, and for every chord, that's true. We have C minor, root position, first inversion, second inversion. So, to figure out that, when you're practicing this stuff, if you play 2 C major chords, you're going to notice that you still have your 3 and your 2 here, but to get back to C, you have a gap of 4. Okay? So this is a red flag when you're doing your exercise. If you see a gap of 4, you know that it is an inversion, and that's true of minor as well. Here we have 2, 3, there's your 4. So we're only working on major and minor chords right now, so if you see a 4 gap, you have to go, oh, it's an inversion. And additionally, if the 4 gap is on the top, we know that it is first inversion. So root position, there's no 4. First inversion, there is, and it's on the top. Second inversion, there is, and it's on the bottom. So second inversion, the 4 is on the bottom. First inversion, the 4 is on the top. And what you need to do with that information when you see it on the flashcard, if you see the 4 on the top, you want to put this C, whatever this note is on top, back on the bottom, and you can figure out what chord it is. And if you see it here on the bottom, you can just take the bottom note and put it on top, and you figure out the chord. Okay? And additionally, when just as a practice thing, before you do your flashcards, just sit down and play all your inversions. So you do your C major chord, play the inversions, C minor, play the inversions, then you do D major, play the inversions, D minor, play the inversions, E major, etc. And pretty quickly you'll just memorize them. That's the goal.
I'll be more committed this time.
The goal is not to be like counting everything. The goal is
Yeah.
just to memorize the notes.
Yeah.
And this is just a way to really make sure you understand it.
Okay.